I mean, I'm not going to deny it. There's a Anti-Defamation League in the United States, and it's basically an Israel lobby. And they'll call up, Israel will contact the Anti-Defamation League and say, this Erdogan in Turkey is giving us trouble. And then the Anti-Defamation League will call up friends who write for the New York Times and say, maybe you should write something attacking them. And they will, yes. It happens all the time. I know that. The fact that a lot of the Western elites don't like Erdogan, certainly because of the Israel lobby. It's because they don't want any independent regional powers that are outside their control. If they don't like Turkey, it's the same reason they don't like Iran. And it's not necessarily because of Israel. The United States doesn't want an independent Iran. It doesn't want an independent regional power, a power that it doesn't control. It wants regional powers which it can control, because this is a major U.S. interest, the Middle East. So when you see The Economist or the New York Times attacking Turkey, it's not necessarily because of Israel. U.S. ruling elites also don't want an independent regional power like Turkey. That's why I say the interests between Israel and the United States on a regional level, they're basically the same. The U.S. does not want any regional power which is independent, has its own independent foreign policy. The U.S. wants to control the region. It's not correct, in my opinion, to just assume Israel is behind all the criticism. The U.S. ruling elites don't want an independent Turkey either. I think the answer is, of course, yes. I mean, I don't have a problem saying that. They went to the same schools, a lot of these people. They know for the future of your career, you better be in good terms with The Economist, the New York Times, the Washington Post. They think a lot like them. They're friends with them. So of course they're going to be influential. They talk to each other on the phone. The U.S., if you're a Turkish journalist and you attack Erdogan, right? Then the Washington Post, it'll quote you, and you feel good. I've been quoted by the Washington Post. Or the New York Times will say, this Turkish journalist said about Erdogan that he's a dictator. You get quoted in the New York Times. So it feels good for your ego. Wow. I just got quoted by the New York Times. Then you can write an op-ed, an opinion editorial, and the Times will publish it, or the Washington Post will publish it. Or you can write a book and they'll publish it. Everybody understands that if you say what the U.S. wants you to say, it helps promote your career. You don't need conspiracies. All you need is people's egos. And it explains 90%. How do you get quoted in the New York Times? Say something terrible about Erdogan, and you'll get quoted. So you don't need a conspiracy. All you need is to understand people's mentality. For them, the most important place to be quoted is the New York Times, the Washington Post, or The Economist. And so they do what it takes to be quoted. That's all. It's not so complicated. You don't need closed doors and hidden networks. It's very simple to understand. Everyone understands in journalism, that's power.